Ethan stood near the wide glass window, watching the stars move slowly beyond the safety of the space station. It was another quiet day on Station Harmony, a small outpost far from any busy space routes. Ethan was used to the silence. He had come out here looking for adventure, but instead, most days were spent checking engines and talking to the same few people. Ethan worked as a technician. He knew every corner of the station. Megan, his closest friend, often joined him as they fixed systems together or shared jokes to make the slow days pass faster. They were both young, both curious about life beyond Earth, and both a little lonely. Out here in the dark, on this day, something strange happened. A faint alarm beeped at Ethan's station. He looked at the screen and saw a red signal, a distress call, weak and shaky, coming from outside the station's normal patrol area. He called Megan over. She checked the readings, too. It was real. Someone out there needed help. Ethan spoke into the station's comms, alerting the small crew. Most of them were older and careful. They told him to leave it alone. The station was not meant for rescue missions. It was too dangerous. But Ethan could not ignore the call. He felt that someone out there was in real trouble. "Let's take the shuttle," Megan said softly. She had the same worried look in her eyes as Ethan did. "If we hurry, we can reach the ship before it's too late." They moved quickly, but quietly, knowing some crew would try to stop them. They got into the small rescue shuttle and flew out, following the faint distress signal. The trip was only 20 minutes, but Ethan felt every second. What if they were too late? What if it was a trap? When they found the ship, it was spinning slowly, a broken shape against the stars. Pieces floated around it like metal snowflakes. The outside lights were off. Ethan circled around and found a small docking hatch. He and Megan grabbed their suits and helmets and moved to the ship. Inside, it was dark and cold. The ship's lights were gone. The air was thin, and every step felt like walking in a dream. Ethan searched the small rooms. He found signs of struggle: broken seats, a cracked screen, drops of blue liquid on the wall. Then he found her. She was sitting on the floor, hidden in a corner behind a panel. She was taller than Ethan and very thin, with pale skin that almost seemed to glow. She had long hair the color of frost and large, shining blue eyes. Her suit was torn and she was shaking, holding her arms tightly around her knees. Ethan stopped. He knew this was an alien, not human. He remembered stories about dangerous visitors from distant worlds, but she looked more scared than dangerous. She tried to shrink away as Ethan came closer. Her breath was fast and shaky. Megan knelt next to Ethan. She spoke softly, holding out her empty hands to show she meant no harm. The alien woman watched them with wide eyes. Ethan spoke too, using slow and careful words. He remembered a few. Simple greetings from the station's alien language program. "Safe, we will help you," he said quietly. The woman did not answer, but her eyes filled with tears and she let out a weak cry, the sound of someone who had lost everything. Ethan reached out his hand. Very slowly, the alien woman let him help her stand. She was weak and her legs shook, but she did not push him away. Together, Ethan and Megan brought her to the shuttle. They sat her gently in a seat and wrapped her in a thermal blanket. As they flew back to Harmony, Ethan kept looking at her. He saw fear and pain on her face, but also something else, a hope. Small but growing, back at the station, the crew was waiting. Some looked angry, but most were just surprised. Ethan and Megan explained what happened. The station doctor came to check the alien woman. She was badly hurt, but stable. They brought her to the medical room and let her rest. Ethan promised her, again, that she was safe here. That night, Ethan could not sleep. He thought about the woman's eyes, the way she cried. He wondered who she was and what happened to her ship. He wished he could do more to help. In the morning, Ethan went to check on the alien woman. She was awake, but she did not speak. She only looked at Ethan, silent tears rolling down her cheeks. He sat with her, saying nothing, just letting her know he was there. For a long time she did not move. But then, slowly, she reached out and held Ethan's hand. She did not let go. Ethan understood that she needed comfort. He did not know her name or her story, but he promised himself he would do whatever he could to help her. The space station suddenly felt different, less lonely, more alive. He hoped somehow things would be better for both of them now. After the rescue, life on the space station was not the same. Ethan woke up early every morning, thinking about the alien woman they had saved. He did not know her name, but he always thought of her as their guest, someone he wanted to help. Megan felt the same way, so they both took turns checking on her in the medical room. They brought her water, and even tried to show her how to use the station's computer to ask for what she needed. Most of the crew kept their distance. Some whispered about danger, thinking the alien woman might bring trouble. Captain Grant was a careful man who believed in following rules. He told Ethan and Megan to treat the woman kindly, but not to trust her too quickly. He did not want anyone to get hurt or the station to have problems with alien visitors. Days passed, and the alien woman started to get stronger. She was still quiet, but her eyes followed everything. Sometimes she sat near the window and watched the stars. Sometimes she drew shapes on a screen, pictures of strange planets and bright blue rivers that Ethan had never seen before. Ethan liked to watch her draw. He wished he could understand what she was thinking. One day, Ethan decided to try something different. He remembered that the station had a music player with some old Earth songs. He brought it to the medical room and showed the woman how to press the buttons. At first, she only stared at the device. But when the music played, something changed in her eyes. She closed them, and for a moment, Ethan saw her smile just a little. Megan smiled too. She sat beside the woman and drew a simple picture of the sun. The alien woman watched, then took the pen and drew a picture of a blue moon. They both laughed, even if they did not speak the same words. It felt like a small step forward. Later, Ethan tried to talk to the woman again. He used simple words and pointed to himself. "Ethan," he said. Then he pointed to Megan. "Megan." The alien woman looked at them. For a long time she said nothing. Then she touched her own chest and spoke very softly, "Yura." It was the first time she had spoken to them at all. After that day, things changed faster. Yura began to try, speaking simple words in English. Ethan and Megan learned a few words from her language, repeating them until Yura nodded and smiled. Sometimes they would laugh together when someone said a word wrong. It made the station feel less empty, as if something good was happening. Still, not everyone was happy. Some crew members did not like how close Ethan and Megan were getting to Yura. They talked in the dining room, saying it was dangerous. "We don't know who she is," one of them said. "Her people are strong. If they come looking for her, we could all be in danger." Another crew member added, "We should send her back. It's not our problem." Ethan overheard these talks, and it worried him. He did not want Yura to hear them, but sometimes she would look sad when crew members ignored her or spoke in harsh voices. Megan told Ethan they should not listen to fear, but Ethan still wondered what would happen if Yura's people came. One night there was a meeting with the whole crew. Captain Grant wanted to hear everyone's thoughts. Ethan spoke first. He told them how Yura had been nothing but peaceful. He explained how she had started to learn their language, how she smiled when she listened to music, and how she drew beautiful pictures. Megan spoke too, saying that Yura was afraid, not dangerous, but other crew members still wanted her gone. They reminded everyone of the stories about alien attacks in the past. They worried about what would happen if someone found out they were helping Yura. The vote was close, but Captain Grant decided Yura could stay for now, as long as everyone was careful. After the meeting, Yura sat alone in the medical room. She stared at the stars and did not draw or listen to music. Ethan and Megan tried to cheer her up, but she only looked at them with sad eyes. "I do not want to bring trouble," she said in a slow, careful voice. It was the most she had ever said at once. Ethan sat beside her. "You are not trouble," he said. "You are our friend." Megan nodded. "We want you here," she said. Yura wiped her eyes and looked down. She drew a picture of two hands holding each other. She showed it to Ethan and Megan. They smiled, knowing she wanted to say thank you. In the next few days, Yura spent more time with Ethan and Megan. She helped them fix small things around the station. She learned how to use some of the machines, and she showed them how to make simple meals from her own world with the food they had. The food tasted strange, but it made Ethan laugh. Ethan liked talking with Yura, even when they did not have the right words. They found ways to share stories. He learned that her planet had long winters and bright blue forests. Yura loved the color blue. She told Ethan about her family in small, slow sentences. Megan listened and asked questions, and sometimes Yura would laugh at their silly guesses. One day, Yura drew a picture of a large city with tall buildings made of glass. She pointed to it and then pointed to the stars, showing she missed her home. Ethan and Megan understood. They talked about Earth, about trees, grass, and warm sun. Yura liked to hear about rain. She had never seen rain, only snow, but even with the new friendship, there were still problems. One afternoon, while Ethan and Yura worked in the garden room, a loud alarm sounded through the station. Ethan looked at the screen and saw a message flashing. It was a warning from the patrol sensors. A ship was coming fast from outside the station's territory. Megan ran to the control room. She called Ethan on the comm. "It's not one of ours," she said. "The ship is alien. It matches the records from Yura's homeworld." Ethan felt his heart beat faster. Yura stood beside him, looking scared. She understood what the alarm meant. She reached for Ethan's hand and squeezed it tightly. Megan joined them, and the three stood together, waiting for what would come next. The alien ship grew closer every minute. The sensors showed it was not a large warship, but still bigger than their station. Ethan stood with Yura and Megan near the main window, watching the bright lights of the ship as it slowed to dock. Yura's hands shook and her face was pale. She pressed close to Ethan, looking for comfort. Captain Grant called the crew together. "Stay calm," he said. "We will follow protocol. No one is to act on their own." He ordered everyone to return to their stations and waited with Ethan, Megan, and Yura by the main airlock. A heavy sound echoed through the hall as the alien ship locked onto their station. The outer door opened and a group of 4 tall aliens entered. They wore smooth silver uniforms and walked with strong, proud steps. At their front was a woman with sharp eyes and hair like blue fire. She spoke in her own language, her voice loud and commanding. Yura shrank back, hiding behind Ethan. The leader looked around and then switched to slow English. "We are here for our lost one," she said, her words heavy. She looked at Yura. "You must come back." Captain Grant tried to keep the peace. "She is under our care. She was hurt. We are only helping." The alien leader's face grew hard. "She is not allowed to be here. By our law, you must give her to us." Yura shook her head, but her words were lost in fear. Megan stepped forward. "She is afraid. Can you let her stay, at least until she is ready?" The alien leader did not answer. She turned to her group and spoke quickly in her own language. Ethan saw the others nod and look at Yura with cold eyes. After a long moment, the leader turned back. "If you do not give her to us, there will be trouble." The aliens waited near their ship while Captain Grant called another meeting. The crew argued more than ever before. Some said they should hand Yura over and keep the station safe. Others, like Ethan and Megan, wanted to protect her. Ethan's hands shook with worry. He looked at Yura and saw her crying again, silent tears running down her face. Ethan sat with Yura in the small garden room. He tried to speak gently. "Why are they so angry? What happened?" Yura wiped her tears and tried to find the right words. Her voice was small. "I was chosen," she said. "I carry something important. If I go back, they will use it to start a war." Ethan listened carefully. "What do you mean?" Yura closed her eyes. "My mother was a leader. She wanted peace, not war. She gave me a secret. They do not want peace. They want to fight." Ethan felt shock in his chest. Megan joined them, listening to Yura's slow words. "You're in danger here, but if you go, there could be war." Yura nodded. She looked at Ethan with hope and fear. "Will you help me?" Ethan looked at Megan. He saw the answer in her eyes. "We will help," Ethan said. "We won't let them take you." The next hours were tense. The alien visitors grew more angry. They sent messages demanding Yura be returned. The station's crew was split. Captain Grant tried to talk with the alien leader, but she would not listen. Ethan and Megan made a plan. They would help Yura escape if the aliens tried to take her. By force, they talked to a few trusted crew members who agreed to help. Most were too afraid. That night, Ethan sat beside Yura as she stared at the stars. "Are you scared?" he asked. Yura nodded. "Very scared. I miss my family. I want peace. I do not want to hurt anyone." Ethan gently squeezed her hand. "We'll find a way." The next morning, the alien leader demanded an answer. "Give her to us, or we come in." Captain Grant looked at Ethan and Megan. He wanted to do the right thing, but he also wanted to protect the crew. "We have until noon," he said. Ethan and Megan spent the morning preparing. They packed food and water in a small bag. Yura drew a map of the station's old tunnels. Megan found a small shuttle in a forgotten hangar bay. At noon, the aliens marched to the main room. Their leader called out, "Where is she?" But Yura was already gone. Ethan and Megan led her through a dark, quiet passage. The three of them moved quickly and quietly, listening for sounds of trouble. The alarm sounded. The aliens knew they were missing. Voices echoed through the station as the search began. Ethan's heart raced as they crawled through a narrow tube. Megan moved ahead, clearing the way. Yura followed, whispering directions. They reached the old hangar. The small shuttle sat covered in dust. Megan started the engines while Ethan watched the door. Yura sat in the back, holding her bag close. Suddenly, loud footsteps came from the hallway. The alien leader and two guards appeared at the door. "Stop!" she shouted. Ethan stood in front of Yura and Megan. "We can't let you take her," Ethan said. His voice was shaking, but he did not move. The leader looked at Ethan, then at Yura. "You do not know what you are doing," she said. "She is dangerous." Ethan shook his head. "She wants peace. She wants to help." The leader glared at them but did not attack. "If you run, you will be hunted. You will never be safe." Megan shouted, "Now!" The shuttle doors closed, and the engines roared to life. The little ship shot out of the hangar, spinning through space as alarms rang behind them. Yura cried in the back seat, holding her face in her hands. Ethan and Megan sat in silence, hearts pounding. They were free for now, but they knew more danger was ahead. Ethan looked at Yura and put his hand on her shoulder. "We'll find a safe place," he promised. Yura nodded, still crying but grateful. As the stars moved outside the window, Ethan wondered what would happen next. He knew their lives had changed forever. The small shuttle sped through the black sky, leaving the space station and the angry alien visitors behind. Inside, Ethan sat in the pilot seat, hands tight on the controls. Megan watched the screens, looking for any sign of the alien ship chasing them. Yura sat in the back, her face hidden in her hands, crying quietly as the stars rushed by. Ethan tried to fly calmly, but his heart was racing. He knew they had only a few minutes to get far away before someone followed. He looked back at Yura. She was shaking, her whole body tense, and he could see how much fear she carried. Megan put a gentle hand on Yura's shoulder, trying to comfort her. "You're safe now," Megan whispered. Yura lifted her head and tried to smile, but tears kept falling down her cheeks. The shuttle was old and small. It was built for short trips, not for long journeys. Ethan checked the power. "We can't go far like this," he said. "We need to hide and fix the engines," Megan nodded. She looked at the map and pointed to a small moon not far away. "There's a mining outpost here. It was closed years ago. Maybe we can hide there." Yura watched as Ethan changed course. A small moon grew bigger on the screen. It was covered in gray dust and blue ice, with only a few old buildings still standing. They landed near an empty warehouse. As soon as they stopped, the three hurried inside, carrying bags of food, water, and tools. Inside the warehouse, it was cold and quiet. Yura hugged herself, still crying softly. Megan gave her a warm blanket. Ethan found a corner where they could rest. He watched Yura carefully. He wanted to help, but he knew her pain was deep and heavy. After some time, Yura spoke in a low voice. "Thank you." Ethan smiled at her, even though he was tired. "You're our friend," he said. Megan agreed. "We're together now." They spent the next hours hiding in the cold warehouse. Ethan and Megan took turns checking the shuttle and listening for news from the station. Ethan could hear the worry in Megan's voice. "Do you think the aliens will find us?" she asked quietly. Ethan shook his head, but he wasn't sure. "We have to hope they won't." Yura sat near the window, looking out at the stars. After a while, she began to talk more. She told Ethan and Megan about her family, how her mother had always wanted peace. She explained that she was given a special secret, something very important for both humans and her people. "My mother gave me the genetic key," Yura said. Her words were slow and careful. "It can help make peace between my people and yours. But there are others who want to use it for war." Ethan and Megan listened quietly. Megan asked, "What will happen if they take you back?" Yura looked at the floor. "They will use the key to make weapons. They will never trust humans. There will be war for many years." Ethan felt a deep sadness. He understood why Yura had cried so much. She was not just afraid for herself, but for the whole galaxy. He put a hand on her shoulder. "We won't let that happen." Suddenly, their unit crackled. A voice from the station came through, warning them that the alien patrol ship was searching nearby moons. "You have to keep moving," the voice said. Ethan thanked them and shut off the signal. "We can't stay here." They quickly packed their things. Megan started the shuttle, and Yura helped check the power lines. They lifted off just in time. Through the window, they saw another ship flying low over the moon, searching every building. Megan guided their shuttle through a canyon, hiding from sensors. For the next 2 days, they moved from place to place, never staying long. Sometimes they landed on small rocks. Sometimes they hid in the shadow of big asteroids. Each time, they felt tired and afraid. But slowly, Yura grew stronger. She stopped crying as much, and she began to help more with the work. At night, they all sat together in the shuttle, sharing stories about their homes. Ethan talked about green forests and blue lakes on Earth. Megan spoke about her family and their small house by the sea. Yura told them about her world's blue forests and tall, icy mountains. They laughed about the differences and learned to trust each other. One night, while Megan slept, Yura sat close to Ethan. She held his hand tightly and looked into his eyes. Her voice was shaky but honest. "You saved me," she said. "I was alone, but now I am not alone." Ethan did not know what to say. He just smiled and squeezed her hand. Yura began to cry again, but this time it was not just fear, it was also hope. Ethan understood her tears a little better now. They sat together in silence, watching the stars move by the window. The next morning, Megan woke up with a new idea. "We can't run forever," she said. "But I heard of a place where humans and aliens work together in secret. Maybe they can help us protect the key and help Yura." Ethan and Yura agreed. They fixed the shuttle as best they could and set a course for the hidden outpost. The trip would take another day, and they would have to be careful. As they flew, Yura rested her head on Ethan's shoulder. She was tired, but for the first time, she did not look so afraid. As they moved through the stars, the three friends made a promise to each other. No matter what happened, they would stay together and help each other. The galaxy was still full of danger, but for now they were safe and they had hope for peace. The hidden outpost lay on the dark side of a small moon. It was old and partly covered in dust, but signs of life still glowed near the entrance. Human and alien symbols alike marked the door. Ethan guided the small shuttle down a winding crater path. Megan and Yura watched carefully. This place was their best hope. When they landed, a small group of humans and aliens came out to meet them. The humans wore simple suits, and the aliens wore robes of blue and silver. Their leader was a gentle woman named Ray, with soft green eyes. Next to her stood an alien man with light violet skin. They welcomed Ethan, Megan, and Yura with calm smiles. Inside the outpost, the walls were lined with screens and machines. It felt busy but peaceful. Ray showed them to a small room where they could rest. Yura sank onto a soft chair, rubbing her arms. She had not felt so safe in a long time. After a meal of simple soup and bread, Ray invited them to a meeting room. There, more humans and aliens sat around a large table. Some of the aliens looked like Yura's people. Others were different. All of them watched the newcomers with interest. "We know why you came," Ray said quietly. "This outpost was built to find a way to stop wars before they start. We protect secrets that can bring peace." She looked at Yura. "You have something important. We want to help you keep it safe." Yura's eyes filled with tears. She held Ethan's hand. She had not expected welcome from anyone in her world. "Thank you," she whispered. Re-explained that Yura's genetic key could unlock a code in both human and Lara DNA. When used correctly, it could cure the fear between their species and open hearts to trust. But if used as a weapon, it could force control and start conflicts. Ethan asked, "How can we protect it?" Ray smiled kindly. "We will study it here. We have secure vaults and teams that guard the key. No one can use it for bad. We will also send messages to governments and Lara leaders about peace." Megan nodded. "It sounds perfect, but I worry about the patrol ship. They will keep searching." Ree said, "We have sensors around this moon. They hide ships and hide signals. You will be safe here." In the days that followed, Ethan and Megan helped Yura settle in. Yura visited the labs where her key was stored in a glass tube glowing pale blue. Scientists worked together, some human, some Lara, moving carefully, speaking in calm voices. Yura watched with pride. She touched the glass gently and remembered her mother's hope. Sometimes Ethan and Megan joined her. They talked about life after this crisis. Yura said she wanted to build a school on her home planet, where children of both worlds could learn together. Ethan spoke of his dream to fly again, to explore new planets with Yura by his side. At night they walked under a sky filled with distant stars. The air was cold but quiet. They passed between buildings that held memories of hard work and hope. Yura stopped and looked at Ethan. She reached for him, tears in her eyes. She hugged him tightly, crying softly. Ethan held her close, not caring that she would see his tears too. Yura's reason for crying was the weight of her task, but now it was also relief and love. She whispered in broken but clear English, "You saved me. You gave me hope for peace and hope for love." In the weeks that followed, word of the secret outpost spread quietly through trusted channels. Many leaders began to see a path toward peace. Lara diplomats and human ambassadors came here to learn and to talk. The outpost became a beacon, a promise of better days. Ethan, Megan, and Yura stood together one morning as a new shuttle arrived. A human diplomat stepped out with a Lara prince. They came to thank Yura and the outpost for saving two worlds from the brink of war. Yura felt tears again, but these were tears of joy. She held Ethan's hand and Megan's hand, looking around at the faces of people who once feared each other, but now stood together. She did not need words to say how she felt. Her tears said it all. The reason she cried was no longer just fear, but a deep, full hope. And Ethan felt the same. They were speechless, not for lack of words, but because their hearts were too full. The outpost's lights shone bright that night, a sign of peace in the dark sky. Ethan, Megan, and Yura watched together, knowing their journey was not over, but that they had started something that would change the galaxy forever. Part 6. The hidden outpost glimmered under pale starlight as the small shuttle landed gently on its landing pad. Ethan, Megan, and Yura stepped onto solid ground, feeling hope and relief in their hearts. The frost-cold air carried the scent of strange flowers from a nearby greenhouse. They had reached the place that would change everything. Ray welcomed them at the airlock, her green eyes shining with kindness. "You made it," she said softly. "Welcome back." She guided them through corridors lit by soft blue lights, leading to a large hall filled with humans and aliens from many worlds. Yura's heart fluttered with excitement and fear as she saw familiar faces and new ones. Ray introduced Yura to a group of scientists who worked on the genetic key. They wore white coats and friendly smiles. One scientist, Dr. Lewis, offered Yura a seat by a glowing table. He explained that the key was now protected in a secure vault. The vault had layers of security, human and alien codes, biometric scans, and shifting energy shields. Not even the alien patrol ship could break in. While Dr. Lewis spoke, Yura felt Ethan's hand warm over hers. She looked at him and saw pride and love in his eyes. Megan stood beside them, her face lit by the glow of the table. Together, they realized their journey was almost over. After the meeting, the three friends explored the outpost. They walked through a greenhouse where alien plants grew under glass domes. Bright petals glowed in red, blue, and violet. Yura gently touched a flower that looked like a small star. It reminded her of the first time she saw Earth's flowers and felt at peace. They visited the communication room next. Huge screens showed messages from distant worlds. There were talks of peace, treaties, cultural exchanges, and new trade routes. Yura saw her planet's flag next to Earth's flag on the screen. She felt a lump in her throat. Finally, Ray led them to a quiet balcony overlooking a crater lake of glowing blue water. The sky was alive with stars. Yura stood at the edge, tears forming in her eyes. She remembered how lost she felt, crying in the shuttle. Now, her tears were different tears of joy and relief. Ethan stepped beside her. He took a small box from his pocket and opened it. Inside was a simple ring made from blue crystal, shining like the flowers. "Yura," he said, his voice steady, "you held me tight when you had every reason to run. You cried because you carried more than fear, you carried hope and love. Will you stay by my side, on Earth or any place we travel together?" Yura blinked, surprised and happy. She felt Megan squeeze her other hand in support. Yura took the ring and held it to her heart. In slow, clear English she said, "Yes, I stay with you." They slipped the ring onto Yura's finger. A soft glow spread from the crystal, reflecting in the lake below. People around them clapped and cheered. Ethan and Yura hugged tightly, and Yura cried happy tears. Megan joined them, wrapping her arms around both of them. "We did it," she whispered. Yura laughed through her tears, feeling warmth all around. Later, in the outpost dining hall, they shared a meal with new friends. Humans and aliens sat side by side, eating, laughing, and talking. Yura told stories of Earth's rain, and Megan showed off her sandy beach photos. Ethan spoke of starry skies and shuttle adventures. As the meal ended, Rhys stood and raised a glass. "To Ethan, Megan, and Yura," she said. "To their courage, their friendship, and the peace they brought. May their story inspire all worlds." Everyone raised their glasses. Yura felt joy fill her heart. She looked at Ethan and Megan, knowing they had made her future bright. That night, Yura, Ethan, and Megan stood on the balcony again. The blue lake glowed softly below. They held hands and watched the stars. Yura's tears were gone. In their place was peace and love. The galaxy had changed because a human held an alien tight, and she cried. The reason left them speechless then. Now, their hearts were full of words they no longer needed to speak.